Hey guys, Ivan here, and this video I would like to begin with a very interesting topic. It is Keone Pearson apparently prepping naturally for classic physique. Nick's Strength and Power made a video about this, and he said that Keone DM'd him. He told him personally that he is off all gear since the Mr. Olympia and that he is planning on competing that way naturally. No, not in 212. You guys remember that he competed at the Mr. Olympia in 212, where he failed rather miserably. To be honest, he didn't crack the top 10. Everybody talked about him potentially winning the Mr. Olympia, but it didn't really go that well for Keone, even though everybody thought he has the structure, he has the shape, he has the mass, everything. It seems like it, but standing next to the other top 212 pros, Olympians, no, he failed. He didn't even crack the top 10. He actually didn't even crack the top 13. His place was 14th. Granted, the footage that we got from the Mr. Olympia isn't exactly super high quality, but still it seems like I think it's pretty safe to say that 2021 Mr. Olympia wasn't his best conditioning ever. This is Chicago Pro 2021. I think he was in much better shape here, where he won. So if he was sharper and just overall better at the Mr. Olympia, maybe he could have done better, maybe he wouldn't have been 14th, maybe he would have been 10th, 7th, 6th, something like that. I don't think he had a chance, at least this year. No, I don't think he had a chance this year to be top 6, top 5, something like that. No. From 14th, he might have went, I don't know, like 5 spots higher if he was in better shape, but apparently he realized he's not really that close to being a top 212 pro, to winning the Mr. Olympia in 212. He realized if he wanted it, he would have to push things hard. Sean Clarita is not playing around. That guy is giving 101%. Derek Lunsford as well. The other top pros like Kamal El Gardni and Nathan Epler, Angel Calderon, these guys are freaking killing themselves to be on that level, and Keone, he probably didn't want that heat. He wanted to go back to his roots. He originally started as a classic physique competitor, and he really did, or does, have good classic lines. I feel like he ruined those a little bit. He still has a good vacuum and small waist, but it seems like he got some distension happening in that midsection area, and those abs got more separated in the middle, like divided, which is something that happens when these guys have big guts, like Ronnie Coleman and some other bodybuilders as well. It doesn't look very aesthetic, so maybe he ruined his aesthetics for classic physique, but nonetheless, he will still be competing in classic physique next time, naturally. At least that's what he says. Should we believe him? Do I believe him? Well, right here, 2019 Arnold Classic, he claimed to be natural. I was doubtful. I wasn't sure that he was natural. I didn't really buy it, to be honest. He looked really good, so it was hard to believe in something like that. Is it possible that he was a professional classic physique competitor? I think he was top 4, top 5 at the Arnold Classic in classic physique. Is that possible for a natural? Sure, anything is possible. But the only way to really know that he was natural this time is if we know that he took drugs later and his body transformed and he grew a lot of muscle and he changed a lot, which is exactly what happened. So here's a good photo from that Arnold Classic where he looks good, right? Probably better than most of us watching this video. He has a good classic physique, a lot of muscle. Yeah, the chest looks a little bit flat, but like arms are huge, the back is huge, the waist is really small, the legs are massive, and you would probably think, well, if this is natural, what the hell would he look like in 6, 7, 8, 10 weeks of using gear? And here's your answer. So there wasn't a lot of time between the Arnold and the New York Pro. True, the rebound after the show, that's a big deal. That you can actually grow a lot of muscle in that short time period, and you can actually fill up. Your body can just refresh and look better the next show. That happens, but to progress this much naturally, yeah, I don't see that happening. Rebound is something, but it's not that good. PJ Brown, his sponsor at the time, actually said this openly, that Keone was, as he was claiming, he was natural at the Arnold Classic, but after the Arnold Classic he started using gear. And there wasn't a lot of time between Arnold and New York Pro for him to make progress like this, unless he was really natural at that Arnold Classic and he started using gear later, where he put on some more muscle, he gained some hardness, fullness, roundness, and he, as this prediction was actually true, he cracked the top 6 at a Mr. Olympia. So if we assume that he was natural at that Arnold Classic, and then he started using stuff before the New York Pro, and then he progressed in a year in a full-blown off-season with gear and everything, he competed in 212, he won Chicago Pro, he went to the Mr. Olympia, where he failed, I think mainly because of conditioning, but he grew a lot of muscle. So this is where he is right now. This is where he is right now, natural, off the gear. It is kind of stupid to say that somebody is natural if they were on gear for a couple of years and then went off for a month or two. So he's not natural, but he is off currently. Now his weight in these photos is 211 pounds. He started dieting at 225, something like that, and now he's down to 211. His classic cutoff is 180. And his plan is to downsize without the usage of gear. So he basically needs to lose the muscle. Here in this photo, he doesn't really have a lot of fat. Very, very little. 30 pounds, those 30 pounds that he needs to lose are mainly muscle. Really, maybe he has, I don't know, if he gets super shredded for the show, maybe he has 5, let's say 10 pounds of fat max. That's too much. That's being generous. Let's say 5-6 pounds of fat tops, and everything else. Yeah, there is some water, of course. You can always deplete glycogen before your carb load, but still, in order to compete in Classic, he needs to lose a ton of muscle. And it's sad to see something like that. But if he really goes off, if he stays off for a while, it might happen. Now that's really, really mentally challenging for somebody who has been using for a couple of years, because it's not only the muscle size that you get from gear. You get aggression in the gym, you get the hardness, the hard look, you get the vascular look, you get just the overall confidence, everything that comes with gear. There's a lot of things. So you really need to be mentally super tough to actually go through a prep naturally. I mean, that's pretty much, I don't see that happening ever. I think it's impossible. Me personally, after my show, of course, I went off like everybody else pretty much does. And, after a month or two, you start feeling the need to jump on the gear again, because you don't progress very well and you don't look that good. It's not the same, no. And especially when you're prepping, gear makes it easier. It makes it easier to diet. It makes you look fuller and better and overall just more impressive. If you're off of it and you're dieting and everything, you're gonna want to use it. And Keone will want to use it. It's gonna be hard for him not to do it. But to compete in Classic, he needs to lose muscle. He needs to lose a lot of muscle in short time. And what better way than do some kind of crash dieting without gear? So I'm sure he'll actually succeed making that weight cutoff if he actually endures, if he actually stays off. Now, in his video, Nick Strength and Power said something like Keone is not really gonna be completely off, that he will be on low dose that is close to being off, but not truly off. So I don't know. It seemed like Nick was making an assumption, unless Keone told him that he is on TRT. It doesn't have to mean. I mean, a lot of bodybuilders are going completely off after the show for a month or 2 or 3 to clean up the receptors mainly, and for their health. For health reasons, you need to stay off for a little while longer, like 4 months, but for cleaning out the receptors, 8 weeks or 2 months is enough. So there hasn't really been that long since Mr. Olympia, so Keone could be completely off. Is he gonna prep completely off? I think it's possible. I mean, yeah, he's a pro, but he hasn't really been on gear for like 20 years, and he's not in his 40s. He's a young guy. He's in his mid to late 20s. So for being on a gear since 2019 until now, 2 years, Sure, he can get back to his natural test levels if he does everything correct with supplementation, medication, all that stuff. So yeah, I can definitely, I can see him doing this prep naturally. The end result, I think, would be awesome. I think you get harder and more, not really harder, but drier. You get the drier look when you're natural, but it's really hard path. You need to get to that point. If he can actually endure all that mentally, it can look very good in the classic. But there is the thing that I talked about, the midsection, the distension. If he ruined his classic lines, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But a lot of open bodybuilders, the big guys, when they downsize, they just don't look that good anymore. They need the mass. Maybe Keone is one of those guys. Maybe he actually got to that point where he cannot go back to classic. I don't know. We'll see. I hope he will actually endure this and document it. And I can definitely see him do well in classic physique still. But we'll see. Time will tell. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like it. And for more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. All the best and bye-bye.